Well,
Kevin,
there's a first time for everything. Maybe not a last time for everything.
Hold that thought. Welcome, everyone, and by everyone I mean welcome, Kevin.
Hey, welcome, Chad.
Welcome back. I promised to everyone that you would be back this week. Fingers were crossed.
Anybody think I wasn't coming back?
Nope. No. Well, I mean, you could have been in a 2-week quarantine situation, or
I
who
could
knows?
have been. I could have been. You know, and I've missed 2, and you've missed 1 now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe people are getting a little suspicious. Maybe
What do you mean?
Maybe people think Kevin's, you're trying to I'm going to try this one on my own this time. I don't know if I need you as my co-host.
The show must go on at all times. Maybe not. And in fact, this show has just started. There was a little snafu, and we hope that the live streamers will still join us. Zach is in the house. Thank you, Zach.
Hey, Zach. I bet a lot of people were frantically looking for their link, and they were like, "Oh my god! I don't know if I remember getting that."
Am I kicked out of this show?
And you are. You're all kicked out.
Everyone is welcome. We're stalling.
Just a little
bit. We
bit.
just sent a link to the live stream. If you're not a member, you want to get a membership so you can join us on these shows.
How can they get a membership?
Go to our website, candidathletictraining.com. There is a whole section about membership. All the rewards that you get, all the what would we call them? The levels, the programs. What's the word I'm looking for here, Kev?
Memberships?
Yeah, tiers,
platforms,
categories,
peers.
So go to the website and you can check it out. Otherwise, you can reach out to us on social media. Just direct message us on Candid_ATC, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We'll respond to you. We'll let you know.
Candid Athletic Training at gmail.com. You could also reach us there.
Gmail.com. Yeah, just send us an email. Be like, hey, I want to be a member. We have a fun show for you. Lots going on. There's a lot going on.
Like what?
Man, the Olympics are going on. The CrossFit Games just ended. I know a lot of people aren't fans. I'm a huge fan. I just love the competition.
I'm a pretty big fan of it.
The social media has been a buzz.
Woo woo woo.
Employment is an issue here in the athletic training world, and we're gonna talk about it at some point. Not tonight.
Sure.
The Olympics are going on. We got to talk about something more important than employment.
We might end up having a rant.
Sidebar.
Though.
Oh, we would never rant.
Things happen.
Tangent.
It's the second time in a row I got this combination.
There's no good. Oh, Wisconsin.
I mean, if you think that's white, correct?
For those of you who are just listening on audio, Kevin and I have this long-standing game that I came up with many years ago, and it's just stuck. If you have a bag of candy and there are multiple colors to said candies, you close your eyes, you pull out 2, and you have to open your eyes, and whatever 2 colors are in your hand, you have to come up with a sports team with those colors. And the first one to say a team, you can have multiple people do it, but okay, he's doing it right now. Tell me when.
When?
Packers is green and gold. He had a green and gold gummy bear, so the first team that comes to our head was Green Bay Packers. Somebody might have said Oregon Ducks. Somebody might have said whatever, but it's a fun game to play. Oh, the Sonics of yesteryear. Mm-hmm. Hey, you want to know who's the official sponsor of this show?
I would love to know who's the official
sponsor. Our friends at HealthyRoster.com. Man, the Healthy Roster.
What commercial
folks.
was that? .com. It was like an Indeed or no? It was like,
I don't know.
It was one of those website building companies, I think, or domains or something.
Yeah, probably.
It was during the .com craze. Anyway, HealthyRoster.com.
Yeah, go check them out if you're school. You might already be back, but if you hate your EMR, you need a switch. You need to switch now. Call our friend Dan.
They hook you up.
Let them know you found out about them through the Candid Athletic Training podcast. Say this. I heard this is a must-have because it is a must-have.
It is.
It's not must, but we highly recommend.
You have to have this.
I want to know what percentage of athletic training facilities don't use electronic medical records right now. Just go old school.
Only using paper?
Because
it's 3.
I've been in the profession 14 years now, and I remember a time where we just did hard copy. Yeah. So there's got to be some.
I mean,
there's got to be high schools or whatever that are still using pen paper forms. Man, that's crazy.
I'm sure there is. It was not that long ago.
Yeah, that's what she said.
When we were in school, there really wasn't electronic everywhere. Pretty wild to think of.
It is.
Because it's already, I'm like, why do we have any paper? Why don't we do everything electronic?
We should.
And we still keep a lot of paper things, right?
It's unfortunate. It's bad for the environment. So anyways,
bad for the environment, bad for your space, bad for everything.
You could be using that valuable space to store bands
that make
you dance. Anything. But you got files of paper that you never look through.
Could be storing beers. Or
candies.
Lots of other things.
Candy beers. Are there any candy-flavored beers out there you know of?
Candied flavored.
I'm thinking of like a peppermint beer, like a candy cane flavored beer.
There 100% is.
Have you had one?
No, because I would keep that away from me with a 10-foot pole.
You wouldn't try it.
Oof. I mean, of course I would try.
Can we get you on a video when I'm doing the kit full of popcorn? We're gonna get you on a candy flavored. If you know of a candy flavored beer, please let us know and please tag us in social media or let us know.
Send it my way.
We're gonna get some candy flavored beer for Kevin.
I don't discriminate stuff against any kind of alcohol, but I do know if I'm going to drink it again.
I mean, I'm pretty aware of candy flavored liqueurs.
Yeah, of course.
Man,
no,
just
beer.
Sounds bad.
There's definitely, and maybe your definition of candy needs to be broad. Because even like peppermint, is that a candy?
I would think
like the smell, the taste of peppermint, is that considered candy?
I guess it would be. Zach says Expedia.com.
Expedia.com. So it's a travel site.
Yeah, you're right. Those jingles. The bad part about a jingle is when they get in your head. Well, okay, for the advertiser's sake, something will get in your head, but if you don't know what it is,
if I don't associate it with anything,
it's bad.
It is bad. If anything, I hate it.
I hate it.
Although we should have a Candid Athletic Training jingle.
We're gonna put somebody else in charge of that.
We should. Okay, so we should find out from
all of
our listeners.
Nate's like the musical guy. He plays the guitar.
Nate is the musical guy.
But anybody, if you
want a competition out there,
somebody please come up with a jingle for us.
Yeah,
maybe we'll make it part of our intro, the pre-intro intro. Record yourself, send it to us. We already said candidathletictraining@gmail.com, social media, whatever. We can download it. We can put it on.
You know what we always used to say? What's the easiest way to get on the podcast? That's the hardest way to get on the podcast.
Yeah.
At least for us, it would be.
Rick Cox said he didn't have EMR until 3 years ago when he got hired.
Oh, that's tough.
That's just Rick Cox making changes.
Yeah.
And then Zach says his undergrad switched from pen and paper to electronic when he was accepted in the program 2016. So that's only 5 or 6 years ago. So there are places out there. Man, we got to put up a poll. Who's still using? Is this for Healthy Roster? Let's figure it out. Maybe they have that data. Maybe they don't.
They might. That is interesting.
Maybe we should turn that into
5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, 5 years ago, there were still you didn't have an electronic, and I'm not even talking about a very easy. You can do it right on your phone. or on a tablet like Healthy Roster. I'm saying the old school, even just very clunky, lots of drop-down boxes.
Yeah.
Lots of like, oh, it doesn't fit any of these categories. I don't know which one to put it in.
Yeah, right?
I mean, even 5 years ago, we weren't at that. That's crazy.
It's 2021, people. Upgrade your EMR.
Oh, man. Please upgrade your EMR.
Records.
You deserve it. Like, there's so many, like, advantages to using something that is probably as easy to use, as efficient to use, and, like, just great people like healthyroster.com.
Oh, as you were talking, I had something and I lost it.
Easy.
It happens all the time.
Easy button. How many people have had the easy button on their desk?
That's a great one.
A freaking what that was from Staples or something.
That was Staples.
We had one.
You had one
in the
I remember you guys
seeing
that.
Oh,
yeah,
for sure.
2021. It's incredible.
It is 2021.
Advancements in technology. Okay. What else do we need to talk about? Oh, we're here at Brew Fitness MKE.
Brew.
Thank you, Ryan and the staff, for allowing us to take over once again. If you are in Milwaukee, come check out Brew Fitness MKE.
Please do.
Get a workout in. Get a sweat in. Shay Goon's getting a workout in. Right?
He's now doing his work.
Wall,
I heard at least 315 deadlift going
Boom.
right there. Boom.
Do you drop your weights?
I try not to. Only time it happens is if
Rick?
it accidentally.
Rick, Zach,
happens.
are you weight droppers? I'll drop them. I'll drop them.
I will
at the end of a set. Sure, I'll drop.
Like a deadlift.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just. You know what? I got it up. Not. That's my job. Let me drop it.
Okay. Would you drop your weights here, full class?
Yep.
And
every once in a while,
Hulk on some people.
I don't lift heavy enough to Hulk anymore.
And I think
2 years
that's the
ago,
thing. I don't lift heavy enough to justify I just dropped that 135-pound deadlift.
I actually think one of my last workouts here, I went for a max deadlift.
Yeah.
At 405.
Of course you did.
I just missed.
How was your back after that?
It was fine. Oh. And that's why I dropped it. I stopped before I hurt myself.
That's pretty good.
I did miss the 405. I think I got 390.
That's a good, you need to, that's another Twitter poll. Do you drop your weights?
All right. Drop weights.
I would like to know how many athletic trainers drop their weights.
Friend or foe dropping weights.
Friend or foe dropping them. You let everybody know I got that dump.
Yeah.
And don't drop your weights on a bench press. That's a bad drop.
No, definitely not anything overhead. I know the other thing that we got to talk about. So thank you to everyone. We're recording this on what's the date today? August 2nd. And it will come out to the masses August 9th. Thank you to everybody who went to podcastawards.com.
Oh, yeah.
And nominated us for one of your favorites. We will not know if we are in the finals till later this month.
True.
Actually, I think September. But we will let you know if we crack the finals.
It's not tomorrow. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So fingers crossed. It would be nice for the profession. And we do appreciate everyone that took a minute out of your month. Literally took a minute out of your month for helping us out and promoting the profession and promoting athletic training. We are sorry for the social media posts all the time. We're not trying to be self-promoting, but we are trying to represent the profession. So that's why we are trying to get into the podcast awards. So, and thank you to the podcast awards.
44,640 minutes in the month of July.
Yeah, you just needed one.
You just needed one.
So, very good. Shall we
hit the topics?
All right, sir. You haven't done this in a while. I'll let you pick.
Dude, this has been... I feel like I haven't done a podcast in at least 2 weeks.
What do you miss the most about it?
feeling comfortable in what we are talking about.
No,
honestly,
never feel
we're going to start with the topic of the week. I'm just kidding.
We talked about that once. We talked about doing a show backwards, reverse.
Let's go FMK.
Okay, boom. All right. Oh, Rick says he doesn't drop the deadlifts.
Rick would never drop deadlifts. He hasn't met a bar with weight on it that he hasn't been able to lift and softly put down. Otherwise, I don't know. We would all know the limit of human capabilities.
I knew that was going to be his answer is work that eccentric. Work that eccentric.
Work those eccentrics.
Zach says in order to drop weights, I would have to pick them up.
It's actually it's a good point. It's a good point.
I said I got it up, and he said that's what she said. All right, so FMK. Speaking of, I remember my first time because Kevin remembered his first email he sent out with a link to this show.
I do, actually. I remember the first time sending that out.
Yeah.
It was much more difficult then. I did it in a matter of 4 seconds this time, just 4 seconds before the show started.
Yeah. So we may still have some live streamer joining us. They're probably like, "Where's our invite?"
I hope so. We're missing a lot of people right now.
It was just it was a simple oversight. Anyways,
it was a simple. Kevin has been sick for a week, and his brain has not worked in about a month and a half, and it all accumulated to the point of right now.
We were literally talking about like, oh, we have a minute and a half left. He's like, wait, I didn't even invite anybody yet.
I went on to like go hit the link, and I'm like, okay, never sent out the link.
Yeah.
Oh well, what are you gonna do? I mean,
you
know what?
People
Nobody's
know where to
listening.
Find us.
Nobody's listening, anyways. Nobody cares. I'm just kidding.
Rick and Zach do. We appreciate them.
We do.
Okay, so your firsts. It's August. We're either back to work or you've had a slow time and now others are starting to kind of trickle back in and sports are starting to trickle back in. So let's talk about your first times.
Ooh.
We're going to FMK your first times. How about
that first time?
Your first day back at work.
What?
Your first practice and your first game of the season.
First day, first practice.
And
first game.
Yeah, so we're assuming that you are going to come in at least one or a couple days before the athletes come back. You got to get yourself situated. You have to get all set up.
At bare minimum, your first day is like physicals, and it's not like practice.
I walked in today, and I had an athlete waiting for me today.
Oh.
First day back. Said athlete had texted me yesterday saying, hey, what time are you going to be there tomorrow? So I knew it was happening, but it was just like, way to ease on in. That's what she said.
You know what I'm thinking of is the difference between all three of those as, say, an athletic trainer that's been doing the same job for 10 years and an athletic trainer that's their first year.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Or even like a first year certified.
Yeah.
So that might change your answer to this dramatically.
If you are listening to this podcast and maybe it's your situation's way different than ours. So go on Twitter, send us a tweet. What would your FMNK be? That's why we do this. We want to hear what you do. And the live people on the live stream are hopefully going to share their answers with us. First day of work, first practice, first game. It's fun. It's fun because there's no right or wrong. It's everyone's opinion. That's why we have this show, and we want to hear yours. So jump on social media and tell us if you're a first year, maybe what one of these is more, whatever. I'm just rambling. Go ahead, Kevin.
I'm thinking of this as myself.
Yeah.
Just as me. Now, what you said this is your 14th year?
You know what? I never remember because I started in fall of 2007 because my first season was spring 2008. So I started in fall 2007. It's now fall of 2021, which would be 14 years, but I don't know if I'm going into my 14th year. I finished 14 years. I can never figure out.
I think you're going into your 14th year.
Okay.
Because seven would be seven. Well, this is your 14th. Wait,
I guess here, 8,
7, 8.
9. So in the 8th season, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
21.
I did
Yeah.
I did
so this is
21.
This is your 15th.
I'm going into my 15th year.
You're going into your 15th school year.
Yeah.
So that means
it was funny because I was at the conference tournament last year, and one of the host athletic trainer, friend of the show, Eric, he came up to me. He goes, "You want to know what I realized?" He's like, "I'm the second longest tenured baseball athletic trainer in the conference," and he had been there in the Horizon League 3 years, maybe 4 years. I forgot what he said.
Really?
Yeah,
So
because
we
had a couple other. We had another athletic trainer. Our friend Pat, who was at UIC in Chicago, who he had been doing it, I think 1 year longer than me. He no longer did baseball. He just was doing track. So he had a rotation assignment. So I was the longest tenured Horizon League baseball athletic trainer. And it seems by like 10 years.
Oh my. Oh.
No, I actually had a 2 year break in there. So I didn't do 2 seasons. So I didn't do the 11 season. I didn't do the 12 season. So I've been straight since 13.
Wow.
Whatever.
Well,
it doesn't matter.
So the whole point I brought that up is that you said 14. That means I would be like 12. I would be in my 14th year as like a certified athletic trainer, I think.
So I'm going into my 15th, you're going into your 14th.
Something like that.
Because you were a year after me.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Although I think I was a year and a half after you. So that's where I think, say I'm even going to my 13th. Does not matter. I'm going as a 13-year certified athletic trainer. And I'm definitely 100% killing the first day back to work.
Interesting.
Like,
interesting.
I am going to say more often than not, that day is physicals. That day is, I expect to go into this day not having to interact with any athlete, and yet there's an athlete waiting for you there. I am expecting the first day to just be
Packers.
That was like
two yellows, two different shades of yellow and a green. It was like their
maybe an orange. Was it an orange?
Alternate uniforms.
You always expect that first day to just be like straight administrative, which I want to kill it already. Or
so funny
physicals, I want to kill it already. Now there is a sense of like, oh, it's kind of nice to like see people again that you haven't seen in a while, but you're going to see them every day. And so I'm not worried about that. First day of practice though, I'm going to marry that.
Kevin.
I'm going to marry first day of practice.
This is going to be a great FMK.
And the reason I'm going to marry the first day of practice
cannot believe it
is because the first day of practice, you shouldn't have much going on. It should just be a practice. It should be everybody's just getting their feet wet. Everybody, like, there should not be injuries.
That's where you're so wrong. Okay. That's why I'm killing it.
Oh man. Okay. All right. Well, then I'm wrong. I mean, my first days of practice were like
PFPs. Pitchers going 25%.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
And like, if somebody was injured, they've been injured for weeks. And then I'm gonna F the shit out of the first game. And I think most to do with, I think every year the first game always brought for me like a little bit of nerves, a little bit of excitement. You were like, oh my gosh, is everybody ready for this? Are we gonna like make it through this without having a heart attack? Yeah, that's what I got. So, I mean, you tell me why to kill the first day of practice.
I'm going to kill the first day of practice. One, because I think
Jamaica,
watching all of those kids come in out of their shape and get put through a 2-a-day and just knowing that the injuries are coming.
All right. Yeah. That's a good point.
And at least in my level, I like most of my athletes. I like them all. But knowing that something stupid is going to get said or done. And then I think about the high school athletic trainers and how many kids come in that first day without their physicals done. And this battle of like, oh, I'm ready to go. And like, no, you're not. No, you're not. So I'm killing the first day of practice. I hate it. Dread it. And to be honest, even now, like I'm thinking when I was covering soccer, it was rough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Baseball is probably a little bit different because, let's be honest, baseball is not the most taxing sport. Sorry.
It's not.
It's a skill. It's not. You don't have to be an athlete. You have to be a skilled person.
It helps to be an athlete.
So I'm also, it helps if you're athletic. I'm also going to F the game. I think that when you get through it, you can relax. There's just this release. There's this release. You're just, like you said, there's this nervousness, this energy, like you're building up to this moment. Can we get everybody ready for the first game as an athletic trainer? Is that player going to be ready? Oh, yep. Are we going to do it? Yes, we did it. We did it. Great. This is awesome. We just did it. Especially if it's like a night game. Your first game is like a night game. It is. Mm-hmm. There is something cool about the game night. That's why you do it. That's why you do it. That's why you're on Tinder or whatever dating app. You're trying to get to the first game.
You are just trying to get to the first game.
Once you get to the first game. So it's the F. It's 100% the F, the game. I'm marrying the first day of work. And I think it's because I'm starting to enjoy the administrative side little bit.
Oh, God.
I shouldn't say that. I'm enjoying when the athletes aren't around more.
You must
because
use
I'm getting more annoyed.
Roster.
I'm getting more annoyed with seeing year after year after year. It's the same routine. It's the same questions about, are we going to do what? I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's like the faces are all new, but it's like the same questions that you get year after year after year. And you're like, oh, do I have to explain this again?
Do you know if we're going to go late in practice today?
Yeah.
Hey,
what color is the Gatorade?
Chad, do you know, like, are we going to have like early practice like every Saturday this year?
Yeah. Like, and I'm like, and just, I almost feel like it's 2021. We shouldn't have to validate. Well, I was just having a conversation today with the athlete that I was talking about what our role as an athletic trainer should be. Because he literally asked, and this is not his first year at the school. He's a returner. And he said he was doing physical therapy back home because he wasn't near campus. So I was off for the last 2 months. And he said, so what's the biggest difference between a physical therapist and an athletic trainer? And I went, oh my God.
Nothing.
Here we go.
There's nothing.
Here we go. So those first couple days, I don't mind maybe I need a day or two of slow, like I need to ease into it. I need to kind of because I take my 2 months off.
Yeah.
And I try and get as far away from athletic training as possible. I need to slowly be like, all right, let me get in my head in order, like some structure, what I want to get done, whatever one, like what do I need to get set up? I just need to knock a little bit of rust off. Even me.
So today, what did you have today?
Like, I had one kid. I did a rehab for the very first hour.
Okay.
But then, to be honest, it was like kids that were getting doctor's appointments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Over the summer, I was updating notes and healthy roster.
Okay.
So, and like getting bills paid and stuff like that. Stuff that went back, over the summer when I wasn't working. I was like, all right, I got to get caught up on administrative things.
When's the first day of practice?
I ordered chocolate milks today.
Oh,
for the athletic training room. Like just stuff like that. And I also kind of like all right, I'm here, I'm back, let's look around. Is there anything new, any new toys to play with kind of thing? Do you
have any new staff members?
We are in the process of.
Oh, process of.
In fact, yeah. So we are hiring 2 positions.
Okay.
One, I think one has been offered. We're just waiting on the acceptance, and then the other one the offer should be out within sometime this week.
Well, anybody listening, if that offer doesn't get accepted, you want to go work with Chad.
Yep.
You want to go work with old crockety Chad.
Yeah. Hey, Kento, welcome to the show.
Kento? Oh, thanks, Kento. I appreciate it.
So that's what I am. So we got Zach here. He says he's killing the first day back. He stared at his computer all day long. So he's agreeing with you. He hates that first day back. He's marrying the first practice. You get to see all the athletes again. He must be a young professional. Loves his athletes still. F the first game because you might have to get down and dirty a little bit. So he's agreeing with you 100%. Rick is man, Rick agrees with you too.
Yeah.
Kill the first day. Marrying the first practice. F the first game.
When's going to be when is your first practice that you're going to have to cover? I mean,
well, okay, so the thing is, cross
start?
country starts end of August. I don't know the exact date, to be honest. It's usually like the last week of August or the second last week of August.
Yeah.
So they'll come in, but
when's the first like baseball practice?
Middle of September.
Middle of September.
Early to middle of September. So like I will go out to a baseball practice. I would never. I mean, I just wait in the athletic training room for cross country.
Yeah. No, of course. I mean, you're not. I mean, unless you could take a golf cart and like go right next to
when them. When I was doing this exercise, I was putting myself back in the. I used to cover women's soccer early in the year space.
And so when is going to be the first women's soccer?
Tomorrow, August 3rd.
It would have been like day 1 you're in, but day 2 is first day of practice.
Yep, and because of that, I might have even had to come in late July just to kind of do some stuff.
Sure. Organize your kit, things like that.
Yep.
Because that's what. So day 1 for me was always get to spring training, and it was all like setting up athletic training room.
Sure.
Administrative. Like creating all the freaking physical packets, and organizing that kind of stuff. And I tried to take care of as much of the athletic training rooms, like unpacking, whirlpools, like all of that grunt work. Because I hate all of that administrative work. I tried to do so much of that because then Dan and Dave would just do everything else. But then we would
for the entire year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shut up.
Nah, totally. I would do my notes, maybe. I might just tell Dave what I did. But then we'd have our first practice, 2 days later, 3 days later. That's when like all of a sudden everybody was there, or pitchers and catchers would report, and then we'd go outside and do some bull crap. Freaking pitchers would play catch, and the catchers would take BP, and they would they'd throw some bullpens, and it was just like this really kind of like easy, comforting day. Like breaking into it.
Yeah, I can see at that level.
And then even like, I'm not even considering spring training games as the first game, but then like opening day was like excitement, right? Yeah. And so I think it's interesting to hear the difference between college, pro, high school. I mean, like even our listeners, it's some of them are saying, no, like I get in there and it's just all administrative work. And then I can't wait for like that first game because it's actually really exciting. At least most of us really like that first game, I think.
Yeah, I hope so. Very good. Well, that was fun. What do you want to do next?
Fatty McFats.
Fatty. Okay. Oh, that's a great transition here. That's a professional grade transition by Kevin. And you guys, this is fun. So this is going to be a little Inception. This is, if you're new to the program, we do fictional athletic trainer. We did debate 2 things which would make the better athletic trainer. In honor of 2-a-days.
Yeah.
Which we just kind of, are talking about, the start of the season. A lot of times it's 2-a-days or whatever. Which practice would make a better athletic trainer? The first practice in a 2-a-day or the second practice in a 2-a-day?
Okay, this is what I need from you.
Yeah.
Okay. My only
you haven't had many 2-a-days.
My only experience of 2-a-days is when I was the athlete.
When you were a football player in high school.
Yeah, football player in high school. Or kind of, we didn't really do 2-a-days, but we had 2 separate practices in track, and it was just because that's the way it was set up.
Sure.
Give me what a 2-a-day in college. What I mean, college soccer.
Yep.
What did that look like?
Back in the day,
Which was a Wednesday.
Back in the day when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot the official name of that song.
No idea what you're saying.
It's a old school rap song. We would actually usually have an early practice, like a 7 or 8 a.m. till 10. And then lunch would be provided by the team, usually be 10 to 11 right after training. Go home. The athletes would go home for like 2 hours.
Oh.
And the second session would be like 2 o'clock. So the athletes would get about a 2-hour break, maybe a 3-hour break, where I would be doing treatments or getting a workout in between the sessions. And then it's like, because you're doing post-practice treatments and then pre-treatments for the second session, the athletic trainer break is maybe an hour and a half, potentially.
What was the difference between practice 1 and practice 2?
It kind of depends on the coaches. Sometimes nothing.
With
Usually,
your
if there was
coaches,
one, usually there would be one would be more technical, and one would be more physical. Like we're doing some conditioning.
Would they switch those up? Or
yeah,
okay.
It would
Right.
kind of depend on, maybe you'd go a hard one, 2 easy ones, and then a hard one. That's what she said. Whatever.
Oh.
So there was not necessarily a rhyme or reason to it.
Gotcha.
So for me, the second one's going to be the seasoned veteran. They've got the staying power. Second practice is you've been there all day, you've seen it, you've done it, you're tired, you're beat down. You just want to get through, but you're going to see it through. That's the second practice. It's the mentally more. You have to be mentally or more. I think it's going to be a little bit mentally tougher.
Mm-hmm.
That second challenge.
Yeah.
So it makes a little bit more seasoned veteran, I guess.
Okay.
That's the feeling I get of the second practice.
Athletic trainers are always tired.
The first practice is, especially when you've had several back-to-back days of 2 practices, that first practice is that first half hour. It's like you're kind of going through the motions. You kind of have to ease into it.
Yeah.
So you could be like a little lethargic at the beginning of the practice, and then all of a sudden the coach really has to sometimes be like, hey, we got to go. And then all of a sudden, or somebody gets screamed at, and all of a sudden the intensity picks up.
Yep.
And a lot of times it's early morning. Now you can say that maybe you're a little fresher, a little bit more well-rested as an athletic trainer.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the main things that I think of.
There's part of me that's thinking like the first practice would be the better athletic trainer, right? The more rested,
Sure.
more probably.
And that's why we're having this talk.
Probably not quite as hungry, maybe. Although the second practice, you should have had lunch. You should have had time for lunch, which that's what the second practice seems to be like, it's more like athletic training because we're tired. We have to persevere through some long especially sometimes that second practice from what I remember when I was in high school, one coach would set everything up. Second practice was drills. It was technical. It was assignments for football, right? Where the first practice was all about run. Like we would do full team things. And then the second practice was very like, all right, you're going to break off into your specialty group and work on stuff. And so you had to be technically sound even though you were tired, right? And maybe you got a decent meal in you, but you were tired. First practice though, yeah, you do have to ease into it, but you had time. It seemed like everybody knew we had to ease into it because it was early.
Well, here's the other
which is not what athletic training is,
Yeah.
but it would make a better athletic trainer if you could kind of ease into your day a little bit.
Well, the second
Or
practice
just get thrown in the fire.
The second practice is having to adjust on what happened in the first practice. Maybe there was an injury in the first practice.
That's a good call.
You have to be able to be more flexible, be able to adjust. That second practice has to adjust.
Yeah.
That first practice, unless something crazy happens at night, like you know what's coming from the day before. Yeah, although you're going to see a lot more soreness, like hamstrings, quads, whatever. Totally. But that first practice is a little bit more structured in terms of you have a feel for what's happening. The second one is more like, oh boy, I got to wait and see how this first practice goes and then adjust what my plans are. Maybe you got somebody out, you're going to rehab them, whatever. I just feel like the second one the second practice is you need to be a little bit more adaptable. And that's athletic training to me. I'm going to go with the second practice here, I think, as I talk through it.
And I'm going to go with the first practice. And from
basically, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. You're saying you would be better if you were like a first practice. Yes. And I'm going from the second practice is kind of more realistic to what athletic training is. And so it will be a better athletic trainer because it kind of already is that way. I get where you're coming from, though.
If you're going to make a really good athletic trainer, you should experience a lot of second practices before you can get to the point where you're like, almost predictable and kind of like scheduled. And, the first practice always goes to plan. And when it doesn't go to plan, you just kick things in gear a little bit and then you're just fine. Right? No, I like that. Yep.
Okay.
And I mean, I don't know. A lot of athletic trainers, like Zach says, got to be the first one. By the second practice, nobody wants to be there.
I don't want to be there for either, to be honest. So to hell with it.
It's a really tough, but does that, which one makes that better athletic trainer? The one that doesn't want to be there or the one that really doesn't want to be there?
Right? Well, that's fun. We should put that up on social media. Where am I here? There we go. That's going to go on social media there. All right, Kevin. Yeah. We got would you rather or friend or foe?
Would you rather?
Would you rather? This is fun. Actually, you came up with this. So why don't you lead it in?
Well, so a friend of the show currently, applied for a position at his favorite school of all time, right? He grew up cheering for this school. He grew up idolizing the school, completely could not be happier if that school won the national championship in football. But he just applied for a position to work as an athletic trainer for that school. And it got me thinking, is that a good thing? Is that really for an athletic trainer, seeing the ins and outs of what goes on behind the scenes, not only on the athletic training side, but also on the athletic side, maybe being tainted by the fact that no matter what, work is hard, right? And no matter what, you're probably not going to get everything you would ever want out of a position as an athletic trainer working for somebody else, right? There's always going to be something that you're like, oh my God, never realized that my favorite school of all time paid like crap, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or offers, horrible benefits or whatever it is.
I hate the coach.
Yeah, hate the coach. Yep, and sometimes it's not the school. Sometimes it's the coach. It's your coworker. It's something that's out of control for the athletic training department. The athletic training room is really hot. Who knows? Whatever. Mm-hmm. But that got me thinking. What in these ideal situations, and let's take school out of it, and let's just take the sport that you would be the most ideal for you to work, or your favorite sport, and then your location. And would you rather have your perfect location or your perfect sport? Another way of looking at that is, if you didn't have your perfect sport, it'd be one of the worst locations, and vice versa. Go.
Oh, that's a really tough question. Again, I feel like I just shouted in the microphone there. Sorry.
Again.
Again.
Who do you play for?
Team USA. All right.
Hit the showers.
I think that's a great question, and I think, like we just talked about in our FMK, I think it depends on where you are in your career. I think this is going to be a different answer when you're a first year versus you're 14 years in. So the question is, would I leave baseball to stay in Milwaukee?
Yep.
Or if I wanted to get another baseball job, I would have to leave Milwaukee.
Yep.
That is a really tough question to answer.
Mm-hmm.
I think right now, because I have a family. Holy Christ. It's so tough. I think I'm going to say at this point in my life, the location is more important. Although, why couldn't I just move my family? Man, that's so tough.
I don't know. Why couldn't you?
Because is baseball worth it? That's the question.
It's the perfect. I mean, we're talking. Okay, so
is it the perfect sport?
It's
no. Yes, no. I don't know. And that's weird because I'm 14 years in and I haven't made up my mind.
I'll give you an example. Let's make it a little more specific. I want to make it more specific to you.
No.
Okay. Yes, we're gonna make this more specific to you.
Yep.
Okay. So
I know where you're going with this.
What?
I think you've asked me this before. We've had this conversation.
I mean, I've had this
my ideal college baseball, like where I'd go, Arizona State or Vanderbilt.
Yep.
Are the two schools I was like, oh, that'd be really cool to be the baseball athletic trainer there.
Yep.
That's probably the only two spots I would leave.
Okay, so you have that position.
Yep.
But
is it what's important? That's the sport. The sport's more important to me in those situations than saying I really need to get to Phoenix. I want to be successful in the support in the support sport.
Yeah.
So I'll say the sport, even though I don't necessarily know if I believe it. I don't know if I believe it, but that's what I'm saying. You go.
Do you believe ideal location is Milwaukee?
Right now, I don't know. I'm questioning everything in my life right now. Everything in my life is like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like, how do I make this better? All I know is I want to do this podcast for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And I want this to be so much fun.
Some of the most successful podcasts are done via side-by-side video chats.
All right. What are you saying here? What are you saying?
It's tough for me. It's really tough for me.
Yeah. You thought it was tough. You were making fun of me, and now the shoe's on your foot. You just got a brand new gig.
Yeah, but it has nothing to do with sports.
Non-traditional can be your sport. It can be.
Yeah.
So it's setting. It's your setting versus your location.
At this point in my life, and now that I legitimately left the sport to be in the location.
Yeah.
And I can't not.
The New York Yankees call, Kevin.
Tomorrow.
Or what's your favorite city?
Milwaukee. I mean, honestly,
okay.
if any Major League Baseball team called me right now,
I want to make you the head athletic trainer.
Correct. And you have to be here next week.
Yep.
I would have a
panic
attack, an emotional breakdown. What are the stages of loss or something, right?
Grief, denial, anxiety.
That would be insane, and I would honestly deny it.
Oh Christ! At least you could have said you were from the Yankees. I got some white walls. I got Johnny over here. What's this? I don't even remember another quote.
So I think location, because honestly, there's not.
So you're not leaving. You're not taking the head athletic trainer job for any major league team. if they call.
No, not at this point. Like being my non-traditional, emerging settings, whatever position that I'm in, owning my own clinic, owning my own schedule, seeing my family whenever I want to, experiencing the.
I don't know what that was.
What was that?
Somebody's knocking on the window.
Somebody's definitely knocking on the window.
Are they trying to get our attention?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I wonder if it's Shagun.
Yeah. Maybe why don't you go check it out?
I'm gonna go check it out.
I'll keep talking here.
You keep talking.
All right, we got someone's trying to break into this Brew Fitness MKE because they like it so much. So sport versus location. Next, what we're gonna do, and Kevin doesn't know this. When he gets back, I'll just break it on him. We're gonna do your ideal sport versus the level. Middle school, high school, college, professional. What would you rather be in a particular sport, or would you rather be at a particular level? So for me, I think I like the level more. I like college athletics that much more than I always, everyone says, "Oh, I want to be in pro sports," until you get to pro sports, and then like you find out it might not be everything it's cracked up to be. I like the college setting. I like the. I feel like as an athletic trainer, you have the most freedom to do what you want to do and build your career how you want to build it. I don't think you can necessarily do that in other settings. So for me, I think that's an easy choice. I'm going to take college settings. And Kevin's back. Kevin.
I'm back.
Part 2 of this.
Yeah.
Your ideal sport versus your ideal level.
Oh.
High school, college, pro. Now, it's kind of unfair because you had both.
I did.
It's got to be an easy one.
Ideal level. Honestly, I would go level.
Yeah.
I think
that's what I said too.
There's more factors in the level that create the good and bad of said sport. Like the traveling, the time away from home, the schedule, the, what's at your facility in order to make your job a little easier or harder. I definitely have to go level.
And you said sport or location in the first one?
Location.
So you said location.
Honestly, I have to say location.
I said location too, didn't I?
I don't know. Would you move to Arizona if Arizona State called you tomorrow? It's right there in Tempe.
Yeah, I think I would. I mean, it would depend on some other factors, but yeah.
I think you would too.
And I said level as well. I said I'd choose the college setting over any other, but like I'd work any college sport versus like moving baseball, like high school. I would not want to work high school baseball.
Right. Right.
And I don't even know if I don't want to work professional baseball because I've been offered, and I said, I'm gonna stay at the college setting. So then there's one left, Kevin.
Yeah.
In the trifecta.
Trifecta.
Your location.
Yeah.
Versus your level.
Location versus level.
Would you rather stay in Milwaukee, or would you rather have your level, which I assume would be professional for you? Because that was the setting you wanted. Okay, well, so you get to choose your location, or you get to choose the level at which you do your job.
Wow. And for the purpose of a game,
yeah,
the level and location can't be the same. Because it's really easy to say, like, no, I choose professional sports in Milwaukee, and then it's like you have the best of both worlds, like I tried to have for a long time.
Well, you just said location. You didn't necessarily
Location.
say it was Milwaukee. You may want to move.
I still have to do location. I still have to do location. At this point, I gave up. Again, that's where I can be very okay with location, is that I gave up a lot of everything else for level for a long time. So, and sport. Therefore, I gave that up for a reason. And the reason is being close to home and not being gone all the time.
Sure.
Not missing everything.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. This is going to sound stupid, but I'm going to agree. I think we're 3 for 3 on the same page here. But the thing is, every morning I take a walk with my wife, my son, and the dog. And every morning I say, what are we doing here? Why can't we just move somewhere else and try something different? And
True.
the answer is we don't know why. Why do we feel like we're tied? Like, I just want to do it with them. I don't care. But I guess it is home, so I guess it is location, and it is being able to be around them.
Yeah, but you're assuming right now that location has to be here.
Well, yeah, you're right.
Location can be wherever you want.
So I guess the moral of the story is it's not necessarily it's the hours.
Yeah.
It's kind of the hour. It's the schedule.
Yeah.
Which I guess would mean that maybe it's the level, because the level kind of dictates how many hours you work a little bit.
It
Not
does.
necessarily the location, because if you move. All right, so then I'm going to change it. I'm going to say the level. I'm going to go level. So I got level 1, location 2, sport 3, and you've got location 1. And I can't remember. You said level, right? You said level over sport?
Yes.
So okay. Interesting. Well, that was fun.
I would 100%.
I talked myself in and out of circles.
Yeah. I would take, say, a collegiate, baseball job.
Oh, you want my job?
Sure. Why not? I'll take it.
You got references?
Not many.
Enough. All right, we got friend or foe before our featured topic, Kevin. Friend or foe this week. Online CPR training.
Foe.
That was such a quick answer. Is there any doubt in there?
I can see why, like, if this is like your 12th time, 40th time, whatever it is, getting CPR certified, that doing it online at least takes a portion of the course and says you can do it at your own speed. We're not really worried about anything else. This is why it's a foe. I've now had to do 3 online CPR classes, followed by the in-person testing, right? And every one of them, the in-person stuff, we ended up having to go over everything that was on the online stuff. I would rather just plain and simple, I'd rather do a, say, 2-hour or 3-hour in-person class versus a 2-hour online, and let's just repeat it all again for 2 hours in person, and then that's your test. Is that, like, we went over it, we did everything that you just passed off on online again, and it's just, I don't think it makes better CPR. I don't think, I think for the most part, the online actually creates a little bit of a, I can always go back and just like retake the test, or I can, go back to the notes section and do this and get the answer. I would much rather scenario in person for CPR. I don't mind in person CPR stuff.
Kento's on the live stream. He says faux. He says it really defeats the purpose, I think. We put it up on social media literally like 15 minutes before the show. And as you can see here, it is 50-50.
50-50.
Although there's 125 votes.
Oh.
So I don't know how.
Happen?
I don't know how it's 50-50.
Somebody voted in the middle?
Somebody said, I don't know. It looks actually like.
So it's probably like 49.9 and 50.1.
62 to 63 right now. But I don't know which one. Dylan says this is a skill that must be practiced hands-on. Sure, you can present the information via online video form, but I like to present the videos in person so that way I can answer any questions that happen with the videos and potentially foster discussion. So full because hands-on matter. Denise says blended is the way to go. Online information and skills testing in person. East Lake North Athletic says if it's the only option, it's better than nothing.
True.
Sydney.
True.
Sorry if I butchered the last name. Sydney Polopoulos. Friend for recertification. Full for first timers.
Big time.
And Colleen Early says online refresher course is fine, but you can't replace that hands-on skills training. Staying alive. Staying alive. I can't think of CPR without thinking of Dwight. It's so good. I'm gonna say fall. I agree. I think we're kidding ourselves if we don't think that. I'm never gonna save a computer screen from dying.
Probably not.
So don't make me practice the saving the computer screen.
Yep.
If I have to save an actual person, I've never had to use the skill. But damn it, if I have to, I have better have practiced on somebody or a mannequin. Like I need to get my hands on that skill. So
yeah.
Otherwise, I'd go into computer repair. So, okay, that's our topic. So let's do our feature topic. All right, Kev.
Yeah.
The Olympics are like hot and heavy right now, and
that kind of sounded like the Olympics.
I know that's why we selected it. Mm-hmm. It's got this royal. It's kind of got this. Can you play it one more time?
And who is Bob Costas? I picture Bob Costas all of a sudden being there, ready to talk about some Olympics. Like that's the intro music to Bob Costas.
It just has like a little regalness to it, a little royalty.
Absolutely, it does.
Like last week, we FMK'd the opening ceremonies, the closing ceremonies, and the medal ceremony.
Oh.
And then we did another FMK that was athletic training related. But like,
how's that not athletic training related?
Not really, because unfortunately, the athletic trainer never gets to celebrate.
Yeah. Do you think the athletic trainers are walking with the athletes?
Damn it! I want the athletic trainer on the podium during the medal ceremony, being like, "Look, you got me through this." That's the kind of recognition we need.
Yeah.
Arm around him.
Be nice.
I mean, it literally should be the coaches, and the athletic trainer on the platform with the athlete.
I mean, that'd be cool. That'd be very cool.
You don't think so? Anyways, the Olympics going on.
Yeah.
The hotbed topic, Simone Biles, her mental health, and her performance.
Yep.
Let's just run with it.
Okay.
We don't really have a specific like question or anything. It's like this is just kind of a candid conversation about what are your thoughts.
Well, I think it's one of the hottest topics right now in sports.
Hot.
I mean, we definitely approached a lot of this mental health awareness God, that was at least a year and a half ago now,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, we were doing a lot of the healthy roster.
It was March, which is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Exactly.
Last March.
And we did a lot of work with healthy roster to bring that to the forefront of athletic training. Even that was before we went to NATA, because that was a huge topic in NATA as well. I feel like that year when we were in Vegas, the last in-person NATA.
I'm
pretty sure.
I'm confusing the years.
Yeah, me too. I mean, COVID threw us all off, right?
Yep.
On the surface of it, I don't know Simone at all.
You don't?
Not like I know Aaron Rodgers. And don't ask me anything about Aaron Rodgers.
He's back.
He's back. Don't worry. We convinced him that like everything's fine. Just play football with us, and everything will get figured out. You know, like just go win a Super Bowl, a last run at a championship. You know, whatever. Who cares?
Drag Randall Cobb with you.
Yeah, why not?
What the hell?
Who the heck cares? All right. So, what I see from it is there are other athletes calling her out for not doing her job, basically. I also see other athletes calling her out for maybe exaggerating. I think some people think she's overreacting to something. We do not know the full story of what's going on with Simone, right? So by all means, this is not going to be, let's figure out why she's making the decisions she is. I think it's more about what conversations can we have that can be productive from what's going on right now. And I think it's very interesting. One aspect of this whole storyline that I've seen is Simone Biles is now 24, I think. She's 24.
I think that's correct.
So the last Olympics, she was 19-ish, 19, 20. And already by the time she was 19, she was being called the GOAT, right? And I think this term GOAT has gotten even more prolific in sports.
I wish I would have wore my GOAT athletic training shirt.
Right. Good point. It's become even more of a topic in sports because of Tom Brady, because of LeBron James, because of even like The Last Dance coming out. Speaking of Aaron Rodgers and his wide receivers, I think the world we live in right now, and it can enable this taking a very young mind and putting it way further down the line of GOAT status when they're 19 years old. And I don't know what it's like to be 19 years old. You're already the best. You are the greatest thing at this sport of all time.
Just want to let you know you're the greatest podcaster I've ever worked with.
Right. And it wasn't when I was 19.
No, you are the greatest podcaster I've ever worked with.
You are definitely the greatest podcaster I've ever worked with. And I think that's a really tough, like,
there's some pressure
there. Okay. So you mentioned, Djokovic or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what his following is.
The other Joker.
Yeah. I don't know what his following is overseas, but I'll tell you what, I definitely see Simone Biles in more things than Djokovic, right? She is much more in the limelight. She is younger. She is in a world that, like, she is on stage just like you are, but you have had other people that are considered the GOAT and you're not. Like, so let's take one step back of maybe criticizing anybody that has not actually stepped a few feet in your shoes. I don't know if there's other high profile gymnasts, like, you know, the Nastia Lukens and people like that are criticizing or not criticizing or supporting. I haven't followed enough of it.
A lot.
But all I know is we have definitely created a world that we're not equipped to make judgment of how much pressure or how much mental capacity it takes to be the best in the world at something at all times and not say, I could use a break from all of this. I could use a break from my constant criticism on social media.
In potentially the biggest moment of your career.
Yeah. Well,
potentially.
Potentially.
So to answer your question, a lot of
Barry Sanders.
Yeah, he walked away.
I mean,
Calvin Johnson.
Or maybe it's Detroit Lions.
Detroit Lions. Get away
Detroit.
early.
I really hope Simone's not from Detroit. Oh, no.
To answer your question, a lot of the former gymnasts are coming to her defense, and it's actually caused this whole other conversation about should the pressure from the U.S. gymnastics, whether it's the coaches, whether it's the committee, whether it's whomever, to force them to go through injuries. You know, we've got a couple Olympics ago, people vaulting with broken, with stress fractures and stuff like that. Yep. So that was another whole side topic. Like how much physical or mental discomfort should you compete with? When is enough enough?
And why have we accepted and glorified, for the most part, somebody
putting yourself at risk?
Who was there was an Olympic wrestler. I just saw it somewhere. It just came across some kind of feed, whatever my phone tells me I should be paying attention to. It was the 25th anniversary or something, or 20th anniversary. He wrestled, got gold medal, and was wrestling with a broken neck.
Holy. Kurt Angle?
Maybe.
I think it was Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle did that.
Right?
Yeah.
He ended up like...
he's like WWE superstar Kurt Angle.
Oh, God.
I'm pretty sure that's his story.
Maybe. Yeah. But we glorify that.
Yeah.
Right? We glorify the idea of like competing through physical injury. But the moment we acknowledge it, but at the same time, like we also glorify, man, they didn't win, or they had to like leave. I mean, they had a shoulder injury. Like, we are not glorifying, wow, that person won an Olympic event and they've been struggling with some sort of mental like condition, or even like just a mental stress that we cannot understand. And we definitely ostracize for the most part. Some people don't, and I think some of that's changing, but we definitely ostracize when people need a mental break, mental health day.
Do you want to know who I blame?
Who do you blame? Athletic trainers.
No, I blame Rocky. People love this underdog fight through anything story. It's Rocky's fault. Sorry, Dave. I know. Yeah. It's Dave's goat is
but
Rocky.
It's also good.
It's this whole
right?
and the other thing is, they just won a silver medal as a team without Simone Biles, and it's like disappointing and whatever. Like, oh, this sucks. She let everyone down. How? There are issues bigger than winning or losing. And maybe this is a cultural shift.
But I would also argue, though, the opposite side of this. Right?
Okay, go for it.
So, I do not know Simone Biles.
Yep.
I do not know anything about what she's had to deal with. I don't know about any of her like actual personal history. But what if she is just not being, quote unquote, mentally tough? Is that fair to the rest of her teammates? Like, what if like legitimately she just is like, you know what? I really never really cared about gymnastics, guys. Like, I just want nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
Or is like legitimately not equipped to handle. Well, seeing that she's given us every indication that she's equipped to handle the limelight and like the fame and like under pressure doing the craziest moves that we've ever seen in gymnastics. But if somebody decides to mentally quit and there is a little there's a moment of people saying, "Oh my gosh, like you need to toughen up." Are we really at a point where that's not allowed? Are we really at a point where we can say to athletes, "Whatever you want." Oh, you're not feeling it today? Okay, yeah, that's fine. Like everything's fine. Everything's fine. What do you feel today?
Yeah.
And I think most of us
I think
don't like that.
there are some people that are disappointed that a spot was taken.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'm not on that. I'm on the other camp. I think I'm on the other side of this in terms of, one, all we have right now is bits and pieces and speculation and hearsay. We don't really know what she's going through. We don't know what the issue is.
We don't.
We heard that there was a potential fracture. We've heard that there's the twisties. We heard that she's just battling mental health. That's all so we don't know specifically what it is. If it's this twisties thing where she loses her place in midair when she's spinning. Think about that.
Right.
Try having some sort of vestibular disorder, sure, and then going and be like, "Hey, I got to do a 3.5 layout, back handspring tuck with a whatever." No thanks. If I have a vestibular issue, I might not be able to get out of bed.
I got to go do a move that nobody else in the entire world can do.
And so, is it worth?
And my head's spinning.
Is it worth the risk?
Right.
Which we don't know because we don't have the information, and everyone we don't. But working with college track athletes, and if they're 98% sprinters, like, I can't go. My hamstring is a little tight right now.
Yep.
Well, let me argue that the hamstring, if you hurt your hamstring going down the runway because you want to pull out of this event because your hamstring might get tight on you. Okay, worst thing you're going to do that to hamstring is you're going to really tear it. Yep. Well, if she's going to go do a 3.5 whatever in midair and not know where she's at, she could come down wrong and do something real damaging.
Directly on that head.
I'm going to have to give her the benefit of the doubt that she knows, like, could she get through it? Nobody knows.
Right.
But if she's not comfortable in it, if she's not confident in it, isn't that the last stage of rehab? 85 to 90% range of motion, 85 to 90, 95% strength. We were always taught it's that last, like, the athlete has to believe they're ready to come back.
Absolutely.
And right now, that's because of, I shouldn't blame social media, but the way that sports are reported on and how important they are, the Skip Baylesses, the Stephen A. Smiths, this instant reaction. I need a hot take. Everyone wants to be like, "Oh my God, something must be wrong. We got to make a big story out of this."
Yep.
You know what? If she's not ready or comfortable, I guess I guess to answer your question, we do have to trust the athlete is giving us the truth.
In this situation, I mean, I don't think there's anything you can do about it, right? I mean, if even, you go down the line and if Tom Brady says he can't throw a football today, he can't throw a football.
And that's the thing,
right?
It's so stupid because, again, there's a glorification of Tom Brady just played the Super Bowl with a torn MCL.
Yep.
Apparently.
Yeah. The whole season.
Maybe he did.
The whole season.
Oh, the whole season?
That's what I read.
Oh, I thought it was just the Super Bowl.
Whole season he had a torn MCL.
And now that becomes like the standard.
How that
and if the athletes don't do that, it's like, just stop. I don't know. It's the comeback stories. It's the underdog stories. We love them. We should appreciate them, but let's not make that mandatory.
Right.
I guess is where I come off in this. Like,
and that's my question is what's the line? What's the level?
It's
what's
so tough.
What's the situation where like that comeback story, that Willis Reed coming back on the court?
Great call. Willis Reed, Paul Pierce getting fake ass carried off.
Yeah, right. But even say, or God, now Boston Red Sox pitcher, first time they won the World Series.
Kurt Schilling,
his
the
bloody sock. But even in our own hometown, I mean, Giannis, his knee bends completely in half, and I mean, everybody that texts me, I was like, I'm going to give it a 90-10. 90-10, he is
done.
Not playing the rest of this year.
I didn't think he was playing next year and potentially ever again.
And so for him to come back was amazing. And then we won the NBA championship, and it was because he was able to become himself again as an athlete. And now I think the mental side of that, right? Like what was possessing his brain that he could trust his knee that much a week later. Like I have no idea how. I have no idea. Other than it looked worse than it was, and it was sore, but they were cautious, and really nothing was wrong, and he never believed that nothing was wrong. Now, you turn that injury into a mental capacity or a mental illness or a mental just stress, because again, I don't want to lump even the idea of every person that's surrounding you telling you you are the greatest of all time and you should be able to win another 5 gold medals without even opening your eyes and even thinking about how hard this could be. It is hard. It's very hard. And we, as a society, can't know what it's like to be Simone Biles or even LeBron James or Giannis Antetokounmpo. But, like, at the same time, I wonder what and where we can have a healthy conversation about, are you just bowing out? Or are you literally past a mental what is a mental capacity that an athlete should have at that level in order to keep being successful or keep doing what they love? I don't know. Like, there's so many questions that you can create off of why somebody could make this decision to hold themselves out of the Olympics when the rest of us, and even I'm sure her teammates, her coaches, were all like, are you kidding me? You're going to give up gold medals? But maybe in her head, it's like, these aren't guaranteed gold medals. Like, what I have to go through to go get a gold medal, I have to enter a space that I'm not comfortable with.
Yeah. Well, and I think the interesting side of it to me is that, like we said, the information is not out there, but like, to me, to be a fly in the room of the conversation between her, the coach, the medical staff, I would love to hear how those conversations went down. Like, who's pulling the strings? Like, that's the information I would love to be privy to before we cast any sort of judgment. Maybe she's like, yeah, I'm going to give it a try. And then the athletic or the medical staff, the doctor, whomever it might be. And I know there's so much heat right now on the gymnastics, medical staff from previous. Obviously, tons. There's a ton of history there.
Yep.
Maybe they said, nope, you're not. We're not going to allow you to do it. Maybe they pushed her to it. And she's like, maybe that pushed her back, saying, look, they want me to try so hard. I'm not comfortable with that.
Maybe.
There's so much to this story that we don't know.
I mean, I definitely
and hopefully after the Olympics we can find out more. I'm sure there's gonna be some sort of interview or story. Hopefully,
at least hopefully there's something we learned from it. I mean, and I'm an athletic trainer and honestly a person that believes there are a lot of people in this world that need a little bit more fortitude, we'll call it. I do think we've entered a space of life that we do not we're starting to go the opposite, right? We're starting to also ostracize, like, no, you do tough things out, and because life is hard, and you do need to understand that athletic training is hard. You do need to understand that being an Olympic athlete is hard. Trust me, I don't think that this is what's happening with Simone Biles, but at the same time, I think it definitely creates a really weird and long and very tangent-filled conversation of that.
The line has definitely been blurred.
Yeah.
So, fun conversation. I don't think we'll ever really have definitive answers.
Probably not.
When there are going to be sides on the issues, and
Absolutely.
there's multiple issues, and that's what makes this a fun conversation. And we would love to hear your thoughts on it. So please let us know. Maybe we will start after this comes out. Maybe we'll just ask for feedback on social media. So
big time.
Really good, Kevin. It's fun to have you back.
Ah, jeez.
It was only a week, but it felt like forever.
Yeah, it was forever. It was very much forever.
1 hour without you is painful.
I will say this, like closing out that last talk. I think what's our number one job? Support our athletes, right?
Yeah.
So, however you need to do that, support your athletes.
Good call.
But you could also support athletic trainers by going over to CandidAthleticTraining.com and getting yourself a membership, right? So check out those different levels of membership. They're all spelled out for you, what you get, what you don't get. There's discounts in the store. You could get cool shirts, cool hats, cool sweatshirts, cool tank tops, cool coffee mugs, anything your little heart desires, I believe. And check it out, CandidAthleticTraining.com. Membership. If you want to jump on the live broadcast, know that you do have to get to that Candymania level. If you want to run a whole show like our good friend Dylan is going to very soon, Dylan, get the freaking whole shebang, right? I mean, just get the whole shebang.
Why not?
We promise we're going to do some more interactive stuff with you guys very soon here, live events where hopefully, we're just having some drinks and some candies with you, and maybe not even talking athletic training, just talking about some nonsense of, why do we live in a city that is eventually going to be cold, even though right now it's perfectly warm outside. Love you all. CandidAthleticTraining.com. Thank you, Brew Fitness Milwaukee. Thank you, HealthyRoster.com. Could not do this live broadcast without you guys. And check out our website.
See y'all next week.
Bye.